Jai Prabhuji. Hello and welcome to the Retroprogressive Yoga Institute. My name is Radha Devi, and I am a monastic disciple of Prabhuji. On this occasion, we will focus on a topic of profound relevance for all of us that are interested in the teachings, message, and legacy of Prabhuji. Life is a constant flow of changes and transformations. When we reflect on this constant shift, it is common to classify thinkers and philosophers into different stages of their thinking, such as the first and second Heidegger, or the first and second Wittgenstein, among others. There is a very clear shift in their message, the starting point from which they depart, which then determines referring to them as first, second, or third. Similarly, we observe a distinction in Prabhuji's message, which determines referring to him as the first and second Prabhuji. This change is reflected both in his conferences, his writings, and in his art and paintings. In what I will call the first Prabhuji, a more accessible language and more diffusive attitude stands out. During the first years of his dissemination work, his main objective was to share a simple, popular, and very accessible message for the majority. This approach thought to reach the largest number of people interested in his teachings using understandable and very straightforward language. It is a fact that a simpler message reaches more people. If we take the example of any religion, or as Prabhuji himself explains about the Hebrew revelation that has several levels. First we have Pshat, Remez, Drash, and Sod. To reach the entire audience, the message must be in Pshat, simple. Sod is only for a reduced number of people because this level requires much more knowledge and much more preparation. If we compare it to the education system between mathematics and algebra, more people will understand mathematics. However, over time, his message and focus present a notable turn with a deeper and more reflexive expression. In the initial stage, we can mention works as What is as it is, Experimenting with the Truth, Kundalini Yoga, Advaita Vedanta, Tantra, and also Bhakti Yoga. Additionally, it is in the commentary on the Ishavasya Upanishad where a remarkable change in Prabhuji's expression is evidenced. This change is not sudden nor limited to the writing of the book itself, but reflects a process of years extending out mainly from the Ishavasya. The second stage introduces us to a more contemplative, reserved, and introspective attitude by Prabhuji. In this phase, his focus is no longer on mass dissemination or promotion of his message, but he adopts a more reflexive and accessible stance for the general public. This change of perspective manifests in various aspects, including the interaction with the disciples, the transformation of his life from a public figure to a private one, as well in his conference styles. Additionally, it is clearly observed in his abstract paintings where, while in the first stage, Prabhuji also devoted himself to the art of abstraction, in this second stage, such abstraction reaches an even higher level. The paintings of the second Prabhuji express a much more intimate world, which is now even harder to access. In various instances, Prabhuji, and throughout the years, Prabhuji has shared how at the beginning of the organization it was necessary to establish a frame of reference for communication with the public. This made him express himself very limited and restricted only through different spiritual paths, such as Hinduism, Judaism, Hatha Yoga, among others. At this stage, Prabhuji did not freely share his spiritual universality. However, with the suspension of accepting new disciples and in the company of the reduced group of veteran disciples remaining in the organization, specifically 3 of them, which are Swami Ramananda, Gopal, and Krishna Devi, they expressed their desire to know Prabhuji without restrictions, as there was no need to access a specific audience. These events are also marking the transition to the second stage. This same attitude is clearly reflected in the Ishavasya, where we no longer have a popular Prabhuji, disseminator or promoter, but rather someone that is more introspective. This change is also seen in his lectures from that year onwards. If we had to use one word to describe this Prabhuji, we could say that he is reflexive. He explains how the term reflection has its roots in Latin, in the word reflexio or reflexionis. This word is formed with the prefix re, which means backwards or again. Then we have the element flex, which comes from the verb flectere and means to bend or deflect a thing. And last, the suffix io, which means the action and effect of. This means that in this stage he bends back towards himself. If in the first the flexion is outward with a diffusive attitude, in the second it is towards his interior, or as indicated by the prefix re, or in his own words that he says that I only talk about what I see and only share what I know. While I'm speaking about this term of reflection, it also reminds me of something that we find exactly in the Ishavasya Upanishad, commented by Prabhuji in this book that is marking this noticeable transition. Near the end of the book, we have something that speaks about the Hebrew term teshuvah, or return. And I would like to read it to you. It says, the Hebrew revelation has the beautiful term teshuvah, or to return. One who follows the spiritual path is not going toward a goal in the future, but going back. I propose the retroprogressive path, which is a return to our eternal home. It is a return to where we really are, to the here and now. Let's pay attention as once again one of the translations of the word teshuvah, the prefix re is used. As in reflection, here is a return, turning again or backwards, referring once again to returning to that place from which we have never departed, as Prabhuji many times mentioned. And this specific paragraph is also giving us at the same time a glimpse of what the retroprogressive path is about. And I just invited to pay attention because of what I want to share about the importance of precision in this specific phase. In this stage, another aspect that stands out is language. And I will also add the term that I personally consider describes the second Prabhuji, which is precision. If initially the intention was to convey a simple and popular message to reach the largest number of people interested in the message, as those who follow us, you know that Prabhuji expresses himself in English, Spanish, and Hebrew, in 3 languages. Now we have a Prabhuji who communicates in Spanish, his mother tongue. Like many other authors who prefer to use certain terms in their mother tongue to accurately express what they want to communicate, then Prabhuji uses words and terms that faithfully reflect his experience. These authors can have different translations in different languages, but they keep certain terms in their mother tongue because those terms are the one that can convey the essence and the whole meaning of what they want to express. If they use the translation of the term, then it's lacking or missing something of what they want to express. So what we see here is that the second Prabhuji is a Prabhuji in Spanish. To deepen and fully understand his teachings, it is important to do so in Spanish. He is no longer concerned with being understood, but his main interest lies in ensuring that his words faithfully reflect what he truly experiences. And to achieve this, he uses terms that may be less familiar to many, but that are necessary to convey his message accurately. He cares about the accuracy and clarity of what he expresses in that conversation with himself or in his own words that he many times says, thinking out loud. I would like us then to bid farewell with a very famous phrase from Prabhuji that I think also reflects this second stage. And it says, "Do not search for me, but search for yourself. It is not me that you need, because the only thing that really matters is you. What you yearn for lies in you as what you are, here and now." Thank you very much for joining us today. Jai Prabhuji.